A rude awakening. In the far reaches of the galaxy, a diverse community of spacefaring species had long since established a rigid order. The Galactic Council, composed of the oldest and most advanced civilizations, strictly regulated the development of younger races. Technological progress was doled out in carefully controlled phases, ensuring that no species could threaten the status quo. Humanity, having only recently ventured into the stars, chafed under these restrictions. Earth's brightest minds knew they were capable of so much more, if only given the chance. But the Galactic Council's watchful eye seemed ever present, quashing any attempts to push beyond the approved boundaries. Deep within a secret research facility on the outskirts of human space, a team of brilliant scientists worked tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of the universe. Led by Dr. Ilara Vestas, they had made a discovery that threatened to upend the galactic balance of power. "It's confirmed," Ilara said, her voice trembling with excitement as she addressed her team. "The quantum field fluctuations we've been tracking, they're not random. There's a pattern, a structure that we can exploit." Her second-in-command, Dr. Caden Roth, shook his head in disbelief. "If we're right about this, it means the Galactic Council's restrictions on faster-than-light travel are based on flawed assumptions. We could be on the verge of a breakthrough that changes everything." Ilara nodded, her face set with determination. "We have to be careful. If the Council gets wind of this before we're ready, they'll shut us down and bury the discovery. We need to move quickly, but quietly." As the research team set to work on refining their findings and exploring the potential applications, they knew they were embarking on a dangerous path. They were about to challenge a galactic order that had stood for millennia, and the consequences of failure would be dire. But the promise of unlocking humanity's full potential, of breaking free from the shackles of the Council's control, drove them forward. In that moment, a spark had been lit, one that would soon grow into a flame that the Galactic Council could not ignore. Humanity was about to take its first steps towards true autonomy, and nothing would ever be the same. Whispers of rebellion, news of the discovery made by Dr. Vestas and her team spread like wildfire through the covert networks that connected Earth's far-flung colonies and research outposts. Encrypted messages flashed across the void, carrying with them a mix of hope, fear, and revolutionary fervor. In the crowded marketplaces of Titan Station, dock workers huddled around dimly lit screens, watching in awe as the implications of the breakthrough were laid bare. On the wind-swept plains of New Carthage, farmers gathered in town halls to debate the risks and rewards of defying the Galactic Council. Some counseled caution, warning of the dire consequences that would befall humanity if the Council discovered their insubordination. "We're not ready," they argued. "We need more time to build our strength, to prepare for the inevitable backlash." But others, emboldened by the promise of the new technology, pushed for immediate action. "We've spent too long cowering in the shadow of the Council," they declared. "This is our chance to seize control of our own destiny, to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As the debates raged on, Dr. Vestas and her team were already hard at work, reaching out to trusted allies across human space. They knew that to bring their vision to fruition, they would need more than just a groundbreaking discovery. They would need a network of supporters, ready and willing to take on the daunting task of implementing the new technology under the Council's watchful gaze. Messages were dispatched to sympathetic researchers, engineers, and administrators on a dozen worlds. Each carried a simple, urgent plea: join us. Help us build a future where humanity charts its own course, free from the shackles of the past. Slowly but surely, a coalition began to take shape, a web of like-minded individuals, united by their belief in humanity's potential and their determination to break free from the Council's stifling grip. They worked in secret, laying the groundwork for a revolution that would shake the very foundations of the galactic order. As the whispers of rebellion grew louder, the stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of humanity, and perhaps of the galaxy itself. The question remained: would humanity's boldness be rewarded with a new era of autonomy and progress, or would it be crushed beneath the weight of the Council's retribution? Dangerous gambit. Across the vastness of human space, a daring plan began to unfold. On a dozen worlds, teams of covert operatives set to work, armed with the knowledge and tools provided by Dr. Vestas and her inner circle. In the gleaming spires of New Shanghai, a young engineer named Lina Shen carefully modified the city's quantum communication array, disguising the upgrades as routine maintenance. On the frozen surface of Europa, a grizzled miner named Chase Keller oversaw the installation of a new power core, its true purpose known only to a select few. As the network of rebels grew, so too did the risk of discovery. Galactic Council inspectors, long accustomed to the unquestioning obedience of their human charges, began to take notice of the unusual activity. Unannounced inspections became more frequent as the Council's agents sought to root out any signs of subversion. On the orbital platform of Arcadia, a team of engineers worked feverishly to integrate the new technology into the station's systems. Just as they were on the verge of completing their task, an alarm sounded. A Council inspection team had arrived, demanding access to the facility. The team's leader, a quick-thinking woman named Nadia Patel, sprang into action. With a few deft keystrokes, she concealed the true nature of their work, presenting the inspectors with a convincing facade of a routine upgrade. As the inspectors moved on, satisfied that all was in order, Nadia shared a tense smile with her team. They had narrowly avoided disaster, but they knew that their luck could not hold forever. Across human space, similar scenes played out: close calls, narrow escapes, and moments of heart-pounding tension. Yet despite the risks, the rebels pressed on, driven by the knowledge that they were part of something greater than themselves. As the pieces of the plan fell into place, the scale of the endeavor became increasingly apparent. What had begun as a single discovery in a hidden research lab had blossomed into a movement that spanned dozens of worlds and involved hundreds of individuals, each working tirelessly to bring about a new era for humanity. But even as the rebels marveled at the progress they had made, they knew that the true test was yet to come. The Galactic Council, once alerted to the full extent of their activities, would stop at nothing to maintain its grip on power. The stage was set for a showdown that would determine the course of human history and the fate of the galaxy itself. Unshackled potential. In a nondescript conference room on Earth, Dr. Ilara Vestas stood before a gathering of the most influential leaders of the rebel movement. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. "It's done," Ilara said, her voice ringing with quiet triumph. "The network is fully operational. Every human world, every outpost and station, is now connected by a web of instantaneous communication and data sharing, free from the Council's interference." A murmur of excitement rippled through the room. For the first time in generations, humanity was truly united, not by the dictates of an alien power, but by the bonds of their own choosing. As the rebels reveled in their achievement, however, the Galactic Council was already mobilizing to crush what they saw as a dangerous uprising. Fleets of warships converged on human space, while Council agents moved to infiltrate and undermine the rebel leadership. But the humans were not caught unprepared. With their new technology at their disposal, they were able to coordinate their defenses with unprecedented speed and precision. Rebel ships, outfitted with cutting-edge weapons and shielding, stood toe-to-toe with the Council's forces, while hackers and saboteurs worked to disrupt the enemy's communications and supply lines. On the research front, human scientists, now free from the Council's restrictive policies, pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Advanced propulsion systems, energy weapons, and biotechnology all leaped forward as the brightest minds of a dozen worlds collaborated and competed in a frenzy of innovation. In the halls of power on Earth, rebel diplomats worked tirelessly to build alliances with other species that had chafed under the Council's rule. The Zinthali, a proud warrior race, were the first to pledge their support, followed by the technologically advanced Corva and the enigmatic Veld. As the conflict escalated, it became clear that the rebels' gambit had paid off. The once unassailable Galactic Council found itself beset on all sides, its authority crumbling in the face of a resurgent humanity and its allies. But even as the tide began to turn, the rebels knew that their work was far from over. The Council, though weakened, was still a formidable foe, and there would be many more battles to come before humanity could truly claim its place among the stars. With grim determination and unshakable resolve, the rebels pressed on, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had tasted the fruits of their own potential, and they would not rest until they had secured a future of their own making. Trials and triumphs. As the conflict between the human rebels and a galactic council reached a fever pitch, the very fabric of galactic society began to unravel. On 100 worlds, species that had long been subjugated by the council rose up in revolt, emboldened by humanity's example. The council, desperate to reassert its authority, lashed out with all the might at its disposal. Mighty warfleets clashed in the void, while armies of genetically engineered soldiers battled on the surfaces of contested worlds. At the heart of the conflict, the human rebels fought with a tenacity and ingenuity that surprised even their most stalwart allies. Their mastery of the new technologies they had unlocked allowed them to punch far above their weight, outmaneuvering and outfighting the Council's forces at every turn. But the war was not without its costs. Whole cities were reduced to rubble, and countless lives were lost on both sides. Even as they celebrated their victories, the rebels mourned their fallen comrades, knowing that each triumph had been bought with blood. On the diplomatic front, rebel ambassadors worked tirelessly to build a coalition of like-minded species, united in their determination to break free from the Council's tyranny. In secret negotiations and public debates, they argued passionately for the right of all sentient beings to chart their own course, free from the shackles of oppression. As the war dragged on, the rebels' resolve was tested time and again. They faced setbacks and betrayals, as some of their erstwhile allies wavered in the face of the Council's might. But through it all, they held fast to their convictions, drawing strength from the bonds of solidarity they had forged in the heat of battle. In the end, it was a series of daring raids and cunning feints that turned the tide. A crack team of human operatives, aided by their alien allies, managed to penetrate the Council's inner sanctum, disabling the central AI that coordinated its vast military machine. At the same time, rebel hackers unleashed a devastating cyber attack, crippling the Council's communication networks and sowing chaos throughout its ranks. With its power structure crumbling and its fleets in disarray, the Council was forced to the negotiating table. In a historic summit, human and alien leaders hammered out the terms of a new galactic order, one in which the rights and freedoms of all species would be respected, and the pursuit of knowledge and progress would no longer be shackled by the whims of a ruling elite. As the dust settled and the rebels emerged victorious, they knew that their work was far from over. The task of building a new and better galaxy would require all of their strength, wisdom, and compassion. But armed with the knowledge of their own potential and the unbreakable bonds of unity they had forged, they were ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold. A new dawn. In the aftermath of the Great Galactic Uprising, the once mighty Galactic Council lay in ruins, its authority shattered beyond repair. In its place, a new order began to take shape, one founded on the principles of freedom, equality, and self-determination. At the center of this new order stood the human rebels, their hard-won victories having earned them a place of honor among the stars. But they knew that their work was only beginning. The task of rebuilding a galaxy ravaged by war and oppression would require all of their strength and ingenuity. As the dust settled and the wounds of conflict began to heal, the rebels set about the work of forging a new path for humanity and for all the species of the galaxy. They established new institutions of governance based on the ideals of democracy and cooperation, and worked tirelessly to promote understanding and harmony among the diverse peoples of the cosmos. On Earth and its far-flung colonies, a new golden age of discovery and innovation dawned. With the shackles of the Council's restrictions finally cast off, human scientists and engineers pushed the boundaries of what was possible, unlocking secrets of the universe that had long lain hidden. But even as they marveled at the wonders of their newfound freedom, the rebels never forgot the hard lessons they had learned in the crucible of war. They knew that the price of liberty was eternal vigilance, and that the struggle against tyranny and oppression would never truly be over. As the years turned into decades and the decades into centuries, the legacy of the human rebels endured. In the halls of power and the annals of history, their names were spoken with reverence. The heroes who had dared to stand up against an empire of lies and forge a new destiny for themselves among the stars. And though the challenges they faced were many and the obstacles they encountered were great, the rebels never wavered in their commitment to the ideals that had brought them together. They knew that, so long as the spirit of human ingenuity and determination endured, there was no limit to what they could achieve. As the galaxy looked to the future with renewed hope and purpose, the rebels knew that their greatest adventure was only just beginning. With the stars as their guide and the bonds of unity as their strength, they set out to explore the infinite possibilities of a universe reborn, a universe where the only limits were those of the imagination, and where the destiny of all species would be written by the choices they made and the dreams they dared to dream. And so, with hearts full of hope and eyes fixed on the horizon, the rebels stepped forward into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges and wonders the future might hold. For they knew that, in a galaxy where anything was possible, the only true limit was the courage and conviction of those who dared to reach for the stars.